get it together here.
Is it Monday, Mikhail? Because I think it might be.
It must be. It must be. But welcome to our First Alert Weather Extra show. I'm meteorologist Mikhail Hannah Harding, and in the studio we have, I'll let you introduce yourself again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
First Alert meteorologist Emily Acton here. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today. A little bit late, but we're good. We're here now.
Just a
we're missing our sidekick, Nick, who kind of gets everything set up for us. But anyways, thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah.
Being patient. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely had a few kinks to work through this morning, but we're here now, and live look outside. Not too bad of a start, Emily.
Yeah, not bad at all. This morning I was like, man, it's like cloudy out here. Not super hot as I walked into the station. 78 right now. This is a dream. Feels like 80. No way. Dew point in the lower 70s. That's a lot better than those middle and upper 70s. Even though it's only a couple of degree difference, feels so much better, I would say. Definitely enjoying this Wednesday. That cloud cover, like I said, is kind of sticking around, and that's because we have a boundary where we are, or a front, I should say. So this is just kind of sitting on top of us here at the CSRA, not bringing any rainfall, but lots of cloud cover to start off our Wednesday, which I don't think many are complaining about that. It feels great outside. But like I said, we're mostly dry, maybe a small passing shower here and there, but that, I mean, that's very, very low. The way we have this radar set up, it detects stuff very, very easily. It's very sensitive to any moisture. So again, very low chance of rainfall this morning. Right now, current heat index, so current feels like temperatures, lower 80s. If we go a little bit more north and west, it's reading a little bit higher. Granted, I don't think that there's that drastic of a difference between Washington and then Lake Thurmond or even Evans in comparison to Bushfield. Give or take a couple of degrees, but again, we're right around 80. Some places those lower 80s for the feels like. Forecasted highs, good to see the lower 90s for the highs, and that's awesome. The past couple of days, we've reached 96, 97. Some places have even reached 98 for the actual temperature. So we're actually a couple of degrees below average for this time of year. Definitely need it over the past couple of days. It has been very, very hot. So definitely looking forward to these cooler high temperatures. And the feels like is going to be so much better. The heat index, not looking too bad. For the next 24 hours or so. So again, this is around 2:30, feels like those lower 90s. And then as we head on into the afternoon, maybe those middle and upper 90s for the feels like temperature. But again, this time yesterday, we were surpassing the 100 degree mark, easy. Those lower 100s for places across the CSRA. And then again, overnight tonight, things are going to be calm. Feels like going to be low, of course, but as we go throughout the day tomorrow, still not too bad. We're going to be in those lower and middle 90s for the feels like temperatures throughout tomorrow afternoon and really even into the evening. So not shaping up too bad to round off the end of our work week. I'll probably end on this graphic, Mikhail, for my portion of it, but the peak heat index values, not too bad. Once we get into Sunday, though, that's when they're kind of creeping back up again. But those middle 90s for the feels like, I mean, it's August. I feel like we really can't complain too much with that.
That's right, and I do want to take the time to go back really quickly and just point out that some places today could stay in the mid-upper 80s. So we're talking about a very noticeable cool down in between upper 90s to about a 10-degree drop in some locations. And for today, we're going to have a front splitting our area, so you can see places like Allendale, around Fairfax, Bamberg, Sylvania. You guys can still feel close to 100 versus Washington, which could feel close to about the upper 80s. So that front is pretty much splitting our area, as you saw on radar. So that's kind of making a divide for a little bit more humid air south of the front, and then also less humid air north of the front. So you can see in Fairfax, they still have a chance to get over 100 degrees there for their heat index. And here in Augusta, not as bad as it has been, but it still will feel a little warm out there. And as Emily mentioned, though, just showing that trend, at least we can say that the heat index pretty much stays below 100 the next few days, which we haven't been able to say for some time now. But rainfall chances not looking too impressive at all, really moving past today, I would say. Even today, not that impressive, but south, still a marginal risk for some heavier storms, and there is a low-level severe threat along the coastal plain of Georgia and South Carolina for today. So it includes some of our southern counties, portions of Emmanuel, Jenkins, Screven County, Allendale County, and also Bamberg under that low-level marginal risk for maybe a few stronger storms. But as we continue into tomorrow and Friday, that thunderstorm risk pretty much goes down, and we're also talking about no severe threat. Now, we're going to do a little bit of a model comparison here between two of our in-house short-term models. So we're looking at the graph here first, which is from the weather company, and you can see it does keep all of us pretty much mostly dry for today. Those storm chances do stay closer towards the coast of South Carolina and Georgia for today, which is definitely a likely scenario. We still could see a few isolated storms, though, popping up across our southern counties, and not ruling that out here in Augusta as well for today. So do understand that, but just not looking like it was yesterday. As we were looking at pretty much a washout in some spots moving past 3 p.m. As we continue, though, into your Thursday, things do look mostly dry for Thursday as well, and we're going to keep mostly sunny skies around with those temperatures still below average in those upper 80s and low 90s. Now, here's a different look at how today could play out. The two models do agree that the majority of our day does stay dry, but this higher resolution look at the next 24 to 48 hours does show a bit better storm coverage for this evening. So don't think that the storm coverage will be as widespread as what this is showing, but I think it does show the potential for some storms this evening being there. So just wanted to show that to kind of highlight that. But either way it goes, if you live in the southern CSRA south of I-20, you have the best chance of seeing rainfall today out of our whole viewing area. But if you happen to not be on your cellular device and you can pull that out and open up your camera, scan this QR code. If you don't have our weather app already downloaded, it'll take you directly to your Apple store, your Apple App Store if you have an iPhone, or the Play Store if you have an Android. But a great tool to have in terms of any kind of weather alerts coming straight to your phone. It'll identify when there's lightning or heavy rainfall near your location. We have interactive radar, and we also submit app updates ourselves throughout the day as your first alert meteorologist, and you can also submit pictures and videos directly through the app. So just a great tool to have if you don't already have that downloaded. But Emily, I'll kind of toss things back to you for the 7-day forecast, and yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, today, tomorrow, highs low 90s. I mean, Friday, even the lower 90s, but then we kind of creep up a little bit, but mostly sunny conditions. So I feel like it's a little bit of a trade-off there. Really not too bad this weekend. I mean, really the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 weekends, we've seen rain at least one day out of the weekend. So this is definitely going to be nice low rain chances, or almost zero for our weekend. And then even into the beginning of next week, we'll kind of coast right around average, which is 93 for this time of year. So maybe a degree or two above that, but not too bad. Look for the next 7 days, overnight lows in the lower 70s. We love to see it. I mean, even predicting 68 for Friday's low. Definitely looking forward to that. But again, these lower 70s, middle 90s, I would say not too bad of a forecast. And we're not even seeing any rain, so maybe if you have any outdoor plans, maybe you need to get some yard work done, trying to prolong that from the heat, the extreme heat and the rainfall, might be a okay time to do that this week.
I do agree. A lot of dry weather ahead, so not going to see too much rain relief for the heat, as the heat does begin to build a little bit more into the weekend. But at least the next few days not looking too bad in terms of summer standards. It's still going to be, you know, a little toasty out there with the low 90s and upper 80s, but just not upper 90s and not cooking like I feel like we've been doing the past few days, and really the past week, I would say, just on fire. It feels like outside, yeah.
You're definitely right, Mikkel. It has been hot, and we saw some rain yesterday, but I know that a lot of the Southeast has seen lots of heavy rainfall. Tennessee especially has seen a lot of rainfall really over the past 2 weeks or so, but they actually had some flooding. I think it was a couple of days ago, but we'll take a look at that. Here, severe storms in the Southeast Monday. So again, we saw a couple of those storms move through, damaged parts of Tennessee. Up to 7 inches of rainfall fell in Monroe County overnight. The entire town of Tellico Plains had some form of flooding. Mayor Marilyn Parker says that the water treatment plant was damaged and she is concerned about fresh water. It's not known how long it could take for the water to be restored, but again, 7 inches overnight, that's a lot, and that's causing this flooding that you're seeing on your screen right now. That is a lot of rainfall in a short amount of time. That's definitely flash flooding. Aerial flooding probably was issued for that area, but hopefully by now, by Wednesday, things are looking a little bit better in terms of just the water everywhere. Now I know that things are a little bit different when it comes to fixing these water systems and things like that, but hopefully they get that squared away pretty soon. But lots of flooding over there. Thankfully we haven't had I can't even say we haven't had too much flooding, because there are some places around the CSRA that have seen some significant flooding this year, but
that is true.
At least with these past storms that have come through, weren't as bad as they were in Tennessee, because it was some intense rain, I would say.
This is also true. That video, it doesn't take much standing water to do damage. I believe in about 6 inches of water, that may be enough to sweep you off your feet as a human. I think it requires closer to a foot to carry a car away, but we're talking about vehicles that weigh a couple thousand pounds. So that's still pretty impressive when we're talking about, just the force of water. But Tennessee has definitely been hit hard, I feel like, over the past 2 years. I recall last year they had a pretty major flood event out there in Tennessee. So I'm laughing because the box just like totally disappeared. I'm assuming because the video wasn't looped. Hey, brought it back though.
There we go.
Yeah, just always amazed at the power of water. I've seen, roads. I'm sure, Emily, you probably have seen some wild pictures or really witnessed some wild things when it comes to flooding. I know the craziest thing I ever saw was a washed out roadway where you could see like the exposed metal piping underneath the road, and you could literally it was a huge ravine. And that to me just was a testament of the sheer force of water, especially when it's all moving in one direction at a pretty good speed.
Yeah, no, I feel like the craziest thing I've seen is just like full cars completely submerged. And it happens so fast too. And this moving water is so powerful and so strong. I feel like we kind of forget that at times, just thinking, oh, it's water, whatever. But I mean, this is moving out concrete, like you said, roads, Mikkel, and it just pushes it away. It's very powerful stuff. So hopefully they get their city or their town put back together quickly. But that's not the only severe weather, or extreme weather, I should say, that we're seeing here. We've been talking about this, Mikkel, for weeks. Heat safety, extreme heat, how to stay safe, really take those precautions, but unfortunately, that wasn't necessarily the case down in Mississippi. Very sad story here, but just kind of reiterates the dangers of this heat that we've been talking about.
Definitely, and we're definitely going to get into that Camp Shelby story about a soldier who had died from a heat injury. So that's definitely something that we've been dealing with here around the CSRA recently. Some dangerous and excessive heat. Actually had an excessive heat warning in effect on Sunday, and I've never really seen that in place. But as far as the Mississippi National Guard, they've ceased all outdoor training between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. until further notice because of the heat down in Mississippi. And I'm gonna go ahead and play this quick clip here, about 40 seconds, just kind of going through or actually, it's a, I'm sorry, this is not an entire story, so I'll just actually read some facts out about what you're looking at here. But this is Camp Shelby, some video of that down in Mississippi, as Emily mentioned. And we're talking about a soldier from Camp Shelby that died from a possible heat-related injury. So the military agency said that the soldier experienced a medical emergency Friday after a 2-mile run, and he was pronounced dead at the hospital. So the National Guard has not been identified, or they have not identified the soldier rather, but he was a member of Illinois National Guard and was actually training at Camp Shelby at the time. So not even, really there on the regular, just happened to be there and got exposed to that extreme heat, and that's all it took. On Saturday, another soldier experienced symptoms of a heat-related illness, and that soldier is receiving care at the hospital. So just, pretty wild there, Emily, when we're talking about the fact that that soldier technically wasn't even really supposed to be there except for training purposes. And now that soldier has lost his life because of some extreme heat. I can't really put blame on the Army, I guess, but at the same time, I wonder how hot it was and how long they were out there,
Yeah, it was extreme heat. I mean, what we were feeling here in the CSRA, it was at a couple handful of degrees and feels like temperatures down in Mississippi. It was brutal over the past couple of days. But also, too, you kind of got to think, I talked about this with the different warnings and different systems, how the CSRA is kind of cut in half of the criteria has to be 110 for these counties and 105 for there to be a heat advisory for these counties. And it's just due to different climate, what we're used to. And I wonder too, just coming from Illinois, probably not used to that heat and your body just can't handle it. So very sad story coming from there. Mikkel, I don't know what you want to go into next. We can
do the typhoon. I know I was actually supposed to read that one. I read the wrong one. So you can do I didn't mean for all that to play out yet. But you can do the typhoon one. I can roll that video real quick. And hey, just do your thing.
All right, I hear you. Yeah. So this is a typhoon Lan. Probably not saying that right, but anyways, slammed into western Japan. Evacuation warnings were issued for more than 237,000 people across different cities of western Japan on Tuesday. And so Lan made landfall near, we're going to skip that, Wakamaha. I didn't say that right. Anyways, Mikkel, we're skipping over this a little bit, but anyways. That's probably right. Okay. Anyways, the powerful storm has caused power outages to tens of thousands of homes. Commercial flights have been suspended there, over 950 canceled nationwide. Spokesperson said that all Japan Airlines flights have been currently suspended. So again, they're dealing with lots of heavy rainfall, and a typhoon is actually a hurricane, just in a different part of the world, different ocean. And once it kind of crosses over a certain area in the Pacific, it turns into a typhoon. So it kind of the same thing as how we have subtropical storms or things like that, depending on where it is in the Atlantic. It's kind of the same over there. So I feel like it's kind of misleading. People think typhoon is a big rush of water or things like that, which I guess you could interpret it that way, but it is just a hurricane, just in a different part of the world. Japan gets hit a lot with typhoons and just things like that. I feel like they are constantly seeing that extreme weather over there, but also too, Japan is an island, so I feel like they're just not in the best place, I guess, because they're kind of surrounded by the water. So they're an easy, there's no buffer. That's what I'm looking for those showers and for that rain to come down and those storms to develop. So lots of extreme weather really around the world right now.
Yes, Japan definitely is one of those targets. I would say just a isolated island, sort of isolated, by itself, and not a big island. So if it's a massive system, it can impact a lot of people. Um, you know, uh, so situated around all that water as well, just being in the ocean, can heighten that flood threat when we're talking about storm surge from these typhoons, which, as Emily said, are just hurricanes, so you can really think of them as one and the same, just in a different part of the world, and as she said, a different ocean out there, way out there in the Pacific. And we've actually, Emily, I don't know if you saw any thing on the web about Hurricane Dora, and if you recall,
Yep.
it was helping to increase that fire in Maui with 80 mile
Yep.
per hour winds. But I saw a stat about Dora being only the second storm to ever do a path that it took where it went from the Pacific and crossed over the date line, I think, and then turned into a typhoon. So it made a transition from a hurricane to a typhoon. And there's only been, I think, one other storm named John back in the 1900s that did that. So some pretty interesting stuff right there. Don't often see hurricanes crossing over, transitioning into typhoons. That's a long
No.
journey that storm had to make. Had to go through some cooler waters too and survive that. So I thought that was pretty cool though. So just wanted to kind of share that nugget. But we can talk about the updated tropical outlook behind you and what
Yeah.
we have going on in our neck of the woods, and then we can go ahead and do the Phoebe and Friends forecast after that.
All right, I love it. I don't know if you can somehow. Oh, okay. Stop the video. I was just hearing the rain droplets there, but we have a tropical wave that we're keeping an eye on in the Gulf. Has a 20% chance to form into something over the next 7 days, but the Gulf is very warm right now. This is kind of prime time, or leading into prime time, tropical hurricane season. So the ingredients are there, definitely going to be one to watch. But again, as of right now, it's too early in the system's life, or the tropical wave's life, I guess you could say. But just a little bit off to our east, off the coast of Africa, a little bit of a different story. We have two tropical waves there that we are monitoring. One of them has a 50% chance of forming over the next 7 days and 30% chance over the next 2 days. But this one that's right off the coast of Africa looks a little bit bigger, but maybe not as well organized, has a 20% chance of forming into a named storm over the next 2 days, 40% over the next 7 days. So definitely something to watch. Like I said, we're almost in peak hurricane season. So anything that pops up has a strong possibility to become a named storm. I know we had a disturbance out in the Atlantic maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was really thinking, man, that's going to become a named storm, Emily, but it never did. So maybe one of these will.
You would have loved that, wouldn't you?
I don't know. I don't know if I would love it or not. If it didn't make landfall anywhere, then maybe. Because also, too, I mean, that's super cool, and we love different weather phenomenons, but also at the same time, it does cause mass destruction. So obviously don't want that. So things are a little different there. Here is Phoebe's forecast. This is my dog Phoebe and friends. This afternoon, going to reach those lower 80s. That's awesome. By noon, going to top off in those lower 90s, maybe upper 80s in some spots. And I have the icon there showing a little bit of rain. We're really not expecting rain for most of the CSRA. Just south of I-20 has about a 20% chance of seeing a quick passing shower. So maybe that was good to put on there just to kind of mention that real quick. Could see a quick passing shower there, but it's not looking terrible. You don't have to walk your dog on a treadmill today. I think that we could go outside, and I don't think it's going to be too crazy. So that's good. Phoebe gives today probably a yellow paw print. Still be careful out in the heat, and definitely those darker surface areas, any asphalt or things like that, definitely need to be more careful and more conscious of your pet's paws. But in terms of just air temperature and the quality outside, not as crazy humid as what we've seen the past couple of days. So it might be a little bit more enjoyable to take your furry friend out on a walk. So Phoebe today, I think she gives it a striped green and yellow paw print. It's in the middle. We're not 100% sure to give it a full go ahead, but also just be a little cautious out there. So that's what we're going with today.
Okay. Hey, I like it, and I support. I agree, and let's see. Unfortunately, I didn't really see any friends.
I know. I don't think we had any new ones.
Once again today. Okay, cool. I thought you guys could see what I'm doing over here. No, but I do have a picture I want to show though. So check it out.
Ah, I love it.
This
I
is
think
Rogue.
we had him on maybe the morning show, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
One day. So cute.
Yep.
So sweet. I love the eyes.
She exactly like that deep, light blue pupil. Well, not pupil, but what do you call the area around the eye? Iris. Yes. Catahoula is the breed of this dog. Catahoula. Never heard of that. Never. But that was sent in on August 11th. Yeah. This is a different view of her though. A more calmer view. A little more calmer there, but. Yeah, we still got Peanut holding down the fort.
Thank you, Peanut.
Though. I know. So we need more doggies, guys. If you are watching and you are a pet owner or you know somebody with one, Phoebe needs some friends,
She does, yeah.
She needs some friends.
We'll get it going, though. I have faith in our viewers. We'll get some pictures coming in soon.
Oh, yeah. But is there anything else that you want to share, Emily, before we kind of wrap things up for today?
I don't think so. I feel like we kind of touched on everything today. It's going to be a lot better, thankfully. Better outdoor conditions. Maybe you want to take lunch outside. It would be a beautiful day to do that. So, I feel like we've hit everything today. Tomorrow we got some more content coming, so be sure to join us there or join Mikkel there. He's going solo.
Holding the fort down on Thursday and Friday.
That'll be good.
Yeah, but that'll do it for today. Thank you guys as always for tuning in, and for those of you that will tune in later, thank you for checking us out, and be sure to come back tomorrow to catch the latest episode of our First Alert Weather Extra show, where we talk about all things weather locally and also on a national and sometimes global scale. So we love to have you here, and thank you, Emily, for your participation this week. Looking forward again to doing it next week. So that'll do it, and you guys have a great day.
Bye.